And right now we're on the question: how can I get my boyfriend that's smelly to take a shower? I had I guess quote unquote friend, and I was over his house, and we were about to go and get dinner with another group of friends, right? And I turned to him and I go, "Hey, could I hop in your shower?" Okay? Now, this is a very divisive topic, okay? This is an incredibly divisive topic because I found certain people thought it was okay for me to ask that question. Certain people were like, of course, use your friend's shower. That's what a shower is there for. And then certain people were like, that is so wrong. Certain people were like, that's invasive. The shower is a private thing. And to those people, I say, you were homeschooled and you're only children and you don't get it. Okay? And I'm making a stand right now. The showers of your friends, and I'll say even the shower of an acquaintance. I'm not getting naked in front of you. Okay? I'm not going cheeks out in front of you, brother. Okay? I'm in the sanctity of a bathroom where horrors are committed. That's what a bathroom is for. We don't like talking about that. But a bathroom is a place where horrors are committed, and we do it in the privacy of that room. And I can't take a little shower. I can't take a little rinse. I can't scrub up and smell better. You're going to make me stink. So I asked my buddy, hey, can I hop in your shower? He's like, you want to use my shower? I'm like, yeah, I want to use your shower. Do I need to explain myself? Do I need to explain that my armpits, if they were being tested by the EPA, would be shut down? If the EPA came to his house at that moment and said, Dan, we need to test your armpits, they would put a Geiger counter on my armpits and say, I'm sorry, your armpits are closed until further notice. And the next time I wanted to lift my hands above my head, I would have to say, I'm sorry, I can't. The government said I can't. Okay? Thank you, whoever is liking the video now. Put the thumbs up if you're agreeing or disagreeing. But when you have somebody and they need to shower more, it's a tough subject. It's a hard subject to broach, and you really need to ask yourself, how much do I know this person? I've said this a couple times on the podcast. My buddy Killian McCaskey, who I will have on one of these live streams, when we were in Boston's a very humid place, right? He would take me to the side if I smelled bad, and he would say stinky. He wouldn't say anything else. I knew what he meant. He would take me to the side, and he would sniff me, and he would say stinky. That's a friend, by the way. That's a good friend. And also, here's the thing, because you're asking how can you get your boyfriend to shower more? This is why girlfriends are so great. And you seem like a really an empathetic person, because you don't want your boyfriend to get self-conscious, right? That's what you're thinking. But here's the thing that is happening. You are putting your own framework over guy logic. And it's not, I think guys are much more, you're able to kind of take a guy to the side and be like, you smell bad. And I don't think he's going to take it as personally as you think he is. I think he is going to thank you. I really do. One time I was over a girl's place, and as I was leaving, I smelled myself, and I smelled so bad. I don't know if it was like the pheromones or what, but I smelled so bad. And it was so bad, I called her as I'm in the car, and I was like, hey, did I stink? And there was a pause at the other end of the phone. And she goes, well, you had like a smell to you, but it wasn't that bad. Which, if a woman you're not seeing, you haven't been seeing for a while, says that to you, you smell like the ocean with sulfur in it. You smell like an ocean of sulfur if a woman says that to you. So I had to calibrate my actual stink based off of her response, which I knew would be kind of tempered. Just know, whoever asked, how do I get my boyfriend to shower more? I think you can be direct with a boyfriend about his showering. And I think that your boyfriend will probably appreciate that. I certainly would. But maybe from what you've heard so far in this podcast, maybe I'm just a freak and maybe I'm just a strange guy. Okay? But I would say you can be a little bit more direct with your boyfriend because your boyfriend wants you to be happy. And if he doesn't, that's just a bad guy. Okay? Your boyfriend doesn't. I'm constantly worried because I think that my own hygiene standards may be low. I don't think that's necessarily true, but that's my worry. My worry is that my hygiene standards are low. So I'm always really self-conscious, and if I could get any feedback, positive or negative, about it that I knew was real, I would really appreciate it personally. Because listen, we've all walked around smelling a little bad. We've all walked around with some food in our teeth. We've all walked around and we forgot to put pants on that morning, okay? Everybody's done it. You think you haven't? Mr. Perfect? Guess what? You have, okay? Everyone's gotten out of bed, walked out of their apartment, got into work, sat down in their chair, realized their chair felt different. They looked down and they realized that they didn't put on pants or underwear and they've been winning the pooing all the way to work. That's happened to everyone, okay? You don't need to be self-conscious about that. That's just a little slice of life. All right? Everyone's done that. I was once in a conversation, and this woman's kind of holding court. It was in a comedy setting, so it's a bunch of crazy people talking to each other, which is great. And this woman goes, because like everybody's cheated. I'm like, listen, I'm all for being kumbaya and accepting our faults, but let's not go that far. Let's not go that far. But anyway, yeah, we've all been stinky. I will say that everyone's been stinky, and you can tell your boyfriend he's stinky. Oh my God, what a question. Oh, this is I sometimes when I answer questions, I get excited and sometimes get really excited. This is a question I'm really excited for. Any dating advice for a person with a stutter? This person asked, any dating advice for a person with a stutter? Boy, do I have dating advice for a person with a stutter. Just for context, I had and still have, to a degree, a speech impediment. It's called a lateral lisp. Words like CH come out as right. They come out the sides of my palate. There's been a few famous people with this speech impediment. Namely, and this is a really funny one because I think he maybe controlled it a little bit more when he was younger, but now listening to him on podcasts and stuff, I realized that maybe just in old age and stuff, it started to slip. But Ric Flair, the WWE wrestler Ric Flair, has the same speech impediment that I struggle with. So it's very funny. It's good company. I'm glad that I'm in it. Yes, I absolutely have dating advice for a person who stutters. Number one, I don't even know if this is going to turn to advice, but this is just the truth when you have a speech impediment. When I started dating, my speech impediment was much more notable than it is now. Because of performing stand-up comedy and listening to myself over and over and over again, I've slowly started to correct the speech impediment. It does still come out from time to time. When I started dating, I had a much more significant speech impediment, and I would always be in my head, and I would always put my insecurities onto that other person. Always. I would always, as soon as I made like a CH sound and I caught it, the rest of the date, I was in my head. I was in my head going, oh, this person thinks I'm a loser. Oh, this person thinks I'm an idiot. Oh, this person probably thinks I'm not good in bed. Oh, this person probably thinks that I can't read, right? Just all these totally asinine things would just come into my head because I was so sure that this person across from me was judging me. And I think as you just get older and you like kind of gain more empathy and you realize what's actually kind of going on in people's heads, you realize they don't care. If they do, they're stupid. Okay? If you're on this date and you have a stutter and you're stuttering, I'm going to be honest with you, and this isn't everybody, and this honestly might get me in hot water. To quite a few people, that's like a cute bonus thing. Like, I know it doesn't feel that way for you, but I think that anything that kind of makes you unique, if you're accepting it and you're integrating it into your own personality, I think a lot of people really like it. Like, I've had women with like my speech impediment be like, I actually, and I was really resistant to it at first. I was like, shut up, you're just saying that. But they're like, no, like, it's a unique characteristic about you that like I appreciate. And aside from that, because that might not be going on, what's really happening in that date is not this person sitting across from you judging every single word you stutter over. What's really happening is they are doing the same thing you're doing in their own head, just about different stuff, right? Everybody has these things that they judge about themselves that when they go into a date, they can get triggered from it. Obviously, you have one that's a little bit easier to be triggered because it like happens out in the open. But everybody's sitting there going like, oh, don't fart. Don't fart. Why did you bring up your dog again? You keep bringing up your dog. Why are you telling this person that you kissed your dog every day? Why did you just tell this person if me and my dog were a crime committing duo, I would be Bonnie and my dog would be Clyde? Everybody is constantly in their head with those specific things. Specifically those things. So I would say number one piece of advice with dating, if you have a stutter, I think that the nerves are only going to make it worse. And you should really get in the headspace and really get in the mindset. No matter how confident you think someone else is, they're not that confident. They're not. And if they are, that's great. But if they're that confident, they're not going to be judging you because they're going to be solid in themselves. Do you get what I'm saying? So I would say advice for dating with a stutter is just like accept it's going to happen on the date. That's not a bad thing. That's just part of you and your personality. Everyone is bringing stuff to the table that they are self-conscious about, and it's not as big a deal to them as it is to you almost every single time. So that's what I would say, dating advice for someone with a stutter. I hope that was helpful. Any advice for telling someone that you're interested in dating them, but they live in another state? Don't. Don't. Well, I'm kidding, obviously, but I do have follow-up questions. Would you see this person even semi-regularly the way things stand right now? The way things stand right now. Is dating your only option? You could date, you could lock down a long-term relationship with this person, okay? You could. Or you could just send salacious pictures to one another every 2 weeks or so. Would that be adequate for you, right? I say this because a lot of the times our infatuation with people can be greatly inflated by the fact that we don't see them all the time, because our imaginations are wonderful, wonderful places where we build people up, right? So, when we are infatuated with someone who lives far away, who we haven't communicated with a lot of the times we can put this framework of really intense positive light on them. We overlook the fact that they talked about building a squirrel army, right? We overlook that as a cute little quirk. But then when you're in the same state as them, you realize, oh, this is something that Chester talks about a lot. And he has a plan, and he has diagrams, and he's been waking up every morning at 4 a.m. to try to learn how to communicate with squirrels to ill effect. is this something I could live with? So as far as dating someone who lives in another state, I would say be open to maybe expanding your possible methods of being with this person, right? Because dating in another state, it's possible. People have done it. People have done it wonderfully. But are you strong enough? Are you strong enough to be in Kentucky while that person is in Nashville, and you go on their Instagram story and there's a picture of them and 2 seats away from them is a really, really hot woman? Can you stand that? Can you go, oh, they're probably just, that woman's probably not even in their group? Or is your mind going to wander? Are you going to think they were definitely on the best date ever, and then when the camera came out, she moved 2 seats down to make it look like they're not really together? Is that where your brain's going to go? Because that's where mine would. That's absolutely where mine would. When you're in another state of someone you're dating, everything is elevated to such a high level and high degree that, you just got to be able to bear it. You got to be able to... yeah. No, yeah. So I got to go. Sorry. Claire's here. And you're like, who's Claire? And he's like, oh, just a friend from work. All right, bye. And you have to just live with that for 5 days. You have to live with that in your soul. Can you take that? Can you take that? Because with technology, the ability to message people at any hour of the day and to see what they're doing at any hour of the day, I think our expectation of how easy it is to maintain a long-term or a long-distance relationship is way overinflated, because you can have all the apps and gizmos and trinkets and widgets that you want, but at the end of the day, it takes a lot of strength to make love on FaceTime that often. Okay? Are you ready to choose camera angles for that event? Are you ready to look at yourself and go, well, this is going on camera? I don't know. I don't know if you are. I did a long-distance relationship before, and she ended up moving in with a new guy 1 week after we broke up. Brother, let me tell you something about those two people. And by the way, I don't know either of them, but I can guarantee you they both have bed bugs now. Okay? That's the Dan Donohue guarantee. You might be sitting there upset that happened to you, and you should be. That's very upsetting. But just know for sure, both of those people have bed bugs now. They both have bed bugs. They both stub their toes regularly. Every time they trim their nails, they cut down too low and they hit the cuticle. I can guarantee you that, because that's karma. You may be sitting there thinking, oh, I missed out. Oh, that was a blown opportunity. Oh, I'm not good enough for that person. Just know that person, every single time they trim their nails, they do that thing where they don't cut it enough, and then they try ripping off the last little piece of the nail, and it goes down into the nail bed. Just know that happens to that person every single time they trim their nails.